Elsewhere in the MLB, a certain franchise located in a certain town in which we do these podcasts out of have recently changed the name of their stadium. And it is called Guaranteed Rate Field. Going from US Cellular Field to Guaranteed Rate Field. And what it is, a mortgage company locally in Chicago with a logo being an arrow pointing down. An arrow pointing down. Guaranteed Rate Field. Guys, let's go out to Guaranteed Rate Field to watch a White Sox game because that's how it's going to be starting November 1st. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is just too... I know it's a business move, you know, and Reinsdorf is making all of these moves in terms strictly of money. And this is just a prime example of it. But really, Guaranteed Rate Field? That's what it is? I mean, people don't call it... They call it Comiskey, which is wrong because it's U.S. Cellular until otherwise. They call it Sox Park. Nobody's going to call it Guaranteed. What are they going to do? What are they going to, like, they can't, like, because they have, like, the acronym, the CELL or whatever. They bring it down to the CELL. You know, that's kind of cool. Kind of badass, I guess, you know. But they go from a cell phone company that actually doesn't exist anymore to a mortgage company called Guaranteed Rate Field. One more time for you. Guaranteed Rate Field. Oh, man. See, now I'm blessed with Wrigley Field. It's one of the iconic historic names. And eventually, maybe they change the name from Wrigley to something like Beggar's Pizza Field or something. Or, you know, DiscountTireCompany.com Field. But Guaranteed Rate Field, guys. That's the state of the White Sox right now. I bring that up because it is very easy to bash the White Sox at this point of the season. Not yet again, their philosophy just falls flat, where they invest in the offseason, trade prospects for big names such as Todd Frazier, sign Brett Lawrie, trade for Brett Lawrie, do all these different things to stay afloat and try and be competitive. All for naught. Because yet again, missing the playoffs, mediocre record once again. So that leads to the question of what the hell are they going to do this offseason? Now, I bring this up again. I know I talk about this subject a lot, but Rick Hahn recently spoke to the media, and people, I guess, close to the White Sox really don't know the direction of where they're going to go, but I just kind of want to brainstorm something. There's some positives, believe me. Don't get me wrong. The White Sox have a nice young player in Tim Anderson. Zach Birdie looks to be a very solid reliever. Zach Collins hopes to be the catcher of the future. Omar Narvaez came out of nowhere, and now he's starting to hit well, and things are not as bad as they seem. Carson Fulmer can be something that you can be excited about, I guess, but at this point, they traded for James Shields. Really, at the time, I didn't think it was a terrible move, but it is just awful. He is just bad, flat out terrible. He can't get anybody out anymore. He can't do it. And, you know, so I lead into this question. What do the White Sox do with Chris Sale and Jose Quintana? This is going to be asked frequently from now until the end of the offseason, until they're eventually traded or not. What are they going to do with them? Because you can't keep trying to build around those two in particular because it hasn't worked. You see Chris Sale, he's just wasting away his prime in Chicago. And he's on a team-friendly contract till 2020. He's really not getting paid what he's valued or what he's worth. One of the best pitchers in baseball is getting paid like $12 million next year. That's nothing for a starting pitcher. So, and then you move on to Quintana, who's never getting any run support, who just always gets the short end of the stick over and over again. What are you going to do with him? You can get tremendous value with Jose Quintana. Jose Quintana can pull you something nice. Whether they go that route, who knows? I really don't know what the White Sox want to do here. They say that Rick Hahn told the media that everybody's on board. There's a sense of direction with this team. They're going to make certain decisions that are going to shape the future. Now, whether it's going to be competitive again, or going to go for it for one more season, I don't know. Personally, I think that they just need to commit to rebuilding because it really doesn't have to be, well, yeah, they set themselves back with all these trades, but at the same time, the prospects overall and the amount of prospects they gave up for the players in return haven't been totally jaw-dropping, I guess. They wouldn't be game changers. Trayce Thompson was a tough pill to swallow. Frankie Montas is who knows where now. I think he got traded again. So what I'm saying is, yeah, Trayce Thompson's probably the main piece that you're upset about losing. Matt Davidson, I don't think he's anything, guys. Like, Yeah, nothing. You saw nothing from him. And they made that trade for the fourth outfielder, really, from the Cardinals for Zach Duke. I mean, that's all he is, fourth outfielder. You're excited about that, more power to you. But Eaton's a good player. What are they going to do with Melky? Can they trade Melky and get value for Melky? Probably. What about Frazier? They going to do that with Frazier? Are they going to keep him around? Are they going to re-sign Laurie? It remains to be seen. Tyler Saladino's a nice player. I think Tyler Saladino deserves to be a starter somewhere, whether it's at second base, third base. I know you're going to have a lot of power lacking there if it's Saladino and Laurie in the infield at the same time, because Anderson's going to be your shortstop. Anderson, though, really the main question with Anderson were his ability to, well, he can't walk, right? He's a free swinger. But defensively, is he going to be able to play Major League shortstop? So far, he's proven that he can. He's a nice young player. That's somebody to be excited about. But overall, you got to be able to get more of that and stop trading for players past their primes. For example, Matt Holliday is going to be a free agent going into this offseason. What if they sign Matt Holliday? If they sign him just to be a placeholder in the outfield because they made moves to build their future, the young players, they're looking for prospects, trade a Sale, Quintana. Okay, I get it. But if you're signing Matt Holliday just to try and compete again, it's just going to be the same old stuff. Same old story, the Chicago White Sox at Guaranteed Rate Field. So, I don't know. I'm really, kind of interested. It's a very dull moment for the White Sox right now because there's really nothing. Even Robin said it. And Robin's on the hook. Is he going to be back next year? Who knows? He said he's willing to come back if the White Sox want him. I mean, what a lackluster manager he's been. They have Rick Renteria as a bench coach. Probably their next manager if Robin isn't there again. So, lots of moving parts with the White Sox, including a name change, Guaranteed Rate Field, and really no sense of direction at this point. We got to wait till the offseason winter meetings. Hopefully, I don't know. Do they want to take the Yankees route? I've said this before. Andrew Miller. They were like, nope, we're not trading him. So what do you want for Chapman? Cubs gave up Gleyber Torres and some other prospect, Bill McKinney, for Chapman. Whoa, that's some big return there for one player, and he's just a rental. And then they're like, okay, we're going to trade Andrew Miller now. And they got even more in return there. Now they have top 50 prospect, or 5 top 50 prospects in baseball just from those two moves alone. It's really, it's impressive how the Yankees were able to manage that situation and become certainly relevant, more relevant than they were this year in terms of where they went. They moved Beltran as well. So with the White Sox, you say, all right, we're not trading Sale, but what do you want for Quintana? You get a nice value for Quintana. It's like, okay, now let's trade Sale. And you can get a lot for Sale, a lot. And I guess there was a King's ransom, and they said no to it, but it's a different ballgame once you're in the offseason. So we'll just keep an eye on that. It's not out of the question that Sale gets traded, because right now is probably the time to do it. You'll get the most in return. Wouldn't you want a Yoan Moncada? Like, he's a mainstay second baseman in this league for 14 years, 15 years. Obviously, they're not proven, but you talk about guys like Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo. He's in that ballpark in terms of prospect potential, and they pan out. A lot of prospects, don't, but this certain few, especially Moncada, and there's other pieces in Boston that you can kind of mix and match with, because if they do decide to go that route, Benintendi looks good, very good. I don't know if they're going to trade him and Moncada. So it's just brainstorming. Who knows? But that's the ballpark you're going to be in if you decide to make those drastic moves. White Sox got to do that. They got to make a decision. But if they do decide to trade Quintana and Sale, how are they going to fill that rotation? Is it going to be Fulmer, Rodon, Shields, Anthony Renato? And I don't know. Maybe like a Jeremy Hellickson? It's tough. It's very hard. I know fans don't want to give up on a once-in-a-lifetime talent in Chris Sale, because he is. Once in a generation. What he's doing on the mound is something. He's just consistently dominant. He's one of the best in the game. So you can't give him up lightly. So if the White Sox go that route, they better get a lot of prospects in return. Probably going to take a hit in attendance at Guaranteed Rate Field for a couple years, despite the fact that nobody goes to the games starting in August. Literally, as soon as August hits, after the trade deadline, They understand the White Sox are out of the playoff race, the fans do, and they just don't go anymore. I don't even know why. I was at a Sox game a few days ago, and we got row 1 in the right center field bleachers for $8. $8. And there were people sitting in the upper deck, but the lower deck is completely empty. And at guaranteed rate field, you could sit anywhere when it's empty. So I don't even know why they keep the upper deck open at this point. They don't have the pull. People don't go to games. People don't go to guaranteed rate field to watch the White Sox. So I don't know. I think they're frustrated. And I would be too. So that eventually, I think this is the offseason that they would finally put a stamp in. They're like, all right, we got to rethink this. We got to be smart. Now let's start getting ready for the future and not just competing mediocrity for 2 years straight. So yeah. Overall, all right, guys. Well, okay, that was it. That was it for Behind the Pen this week. Lots of Bears topics going to be covered in the coming shows and the episode. I'm excited about that, especially when the season starts. I'm going to have stuff for you there. MLB playoff race, I'm going to keep on it because it changes every single day. Standings change every day. So I'm going to be there for you till the end of September. Also, White Sox, guaranteed rate field. I can't get enough. Anyway, follow us on Twitter at Most Valuable Pod. Follow me at Rankin906. Go to blogtalkradio.com/Most Valuable Podcast. Check out all of our full-length podcasts. We'll have them all there for you. Also, patreon.com/Most Valuable Podcast. If you become a Patreon, we love you for it. It's us to do better for you. So look into that. If you become a Patreon, we very much appreciate it. Always value your time, guys. Thank you very much for listening. My name is Mike Rankin from Behind the Pen. We will see you all next time.
Thank you for listening to this MVP podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Most Valuable Pod for more great podcasts.